G'day, Hawks fans from around the world. Welcome to Talking Hawks. I've got Daz with me tonight. I'm Matt. We're in for a big show after, I think the Tigers should be a little bit pumped up. It's nice having a win. How are you going, Daz?
Mate, I'm going well, thank you. And yeah, a fantastic win, a fantastic performance. And I think we kind of, and by we, I mean the entire Talking Hawks family, I think we put it on the table that a loss wasn't going to be acceptable, honourable or not. And the way that the Hawks played for the majority of the contest, I think that third quarter probably won't go down in the annals of history. But for the rest of the contest, we were clearly the better side, which is ultra encouraging with, what are we, 6 rounds to go.
Yep, 100%. Nice little taster there. Fans, it's all about your input as well. So Talking Hawks, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. So tonight we've got the Hawks Crows match, of course. It was lovely to go there myself with one of our player sponsor group, Willard. So g'day to you. It was a lovely time. We've got Damian Mascitti joining us shortly to cover off on some of the Box Hill Southport game. Former captain there and held in very high esteem. So it'd be great to hear, even having Tank. I think it was nice seeing Tank Morris against the Crows. So we'll get his thoughts. But yeah, player ratings, Hall of Fame dinner coming up for the Hawks. It was a 1,000th win. I think importantly, getting up, part of it. Really, I'd love to know a little bit of the background. I think I've heard a few things that was maybe an emotional week for the club. Deer and the Deer family and the Gunston family, hearts go out to them. But so we're all here tonight. I guess as a family. So look, lots happening. Let's just go to the fans. Just tell us where you're tuning in from and some of your thoughts. It's lovely to see some of the regulars here giving us a bit of a walk down memory lane. Tom's first cab off the rank here. Very special team member in 91, no doubt.
That performance by Paul Deer, I think, kind of goes under the radar, not necessarily by Hawks fans, but overall, this was a guy, this is an undersized ruckman who had 26, 11 marks and kicked 2 goals in a side that was so powerful. It wasn't a fluke, that performance. He was outstanding.
Yeah. It's amazing. There's some incredible people that have made up the fabric of the Hawthorn Football Club over the years. So Paul just fought courageously and took a message to the masses, which was amazing. And I hope that did help with, I guess, the club paying some respects, and no doubt that will continue to flow. Vale Deering and his family. So, but let's get cracking. We've got 7 minutes. There's no flying questions in the chat at this stage. So, Daz, let's talk. There's some good signs from the Hawks just straight out of the gates. I was pleasantly surprised at the ground. Parked not too far away from the AFLW girls and Beck Goddard and the like. And they're up and about. So the boys put on a good show. I think for mine, I can't wait to crack into this top 5 tonight, who I thought. But what some of your thoughts, fans, and Daz, just give us 1 or 2 pearlers from your thoughts on the first half.
Well, the first quarter itself, before we even talk about the first half, was outstanding. Highest scoring first quarter we've had for the year. And coming into it, we could all see the danger signs and, the ground and the week that the club had. We kind of thought that a slow start was not going to hold us in good stead. And within 8 minutes, you just went, we look on, which was fantastic. And I thought it was centered around a midfield group that, although you look at Laird and Keys, I think they had 76 disposals between them or something. I don't think they kicked the footy 20 times between them. So, as Hawthorn fans, and Tom Mitchell's been the guy that has copped it a little bit for maybe how damaging that he is. Well, we had 2/3 of their midfield. I think Matt Crouch had 28 as well, and he was barely noticeable on the night. So the fact that we were able to win the ball around the midfield meant that there was no way that they were going to stop us. And it's, it's a broken record of the talking about the Hawks that it starts in the engine room, and when it's up and about, we're up and about, and it definitely showed in that first quarter where we came out and effectively bullied them, and none more so than Mitch Lewis, who had 5. I think it was the quickest any Hawks been to 5 goals in quite a long time. I think it was. I don't even think Bud got there that quickly in 2012. I think it was quite a while. I think it was an 08 game, and it might have been rough. So,
okay. As in minutes into a game. Yep. Okay, I haven't heard that stat. Very cool.
Yeah,
I did
played,
like this
I think, 44 minutes. Yeah, my man 19-1, but geez, he was outstanding, wasn't he? Best on for mine.
Yeah, well, he's calling you out there, 29-0, but mate, he's looking pretty.
No, I don't think that's a call out. He was outstanding. He'd had 7 centre bounces for the entire year, and he had 15 on the weekend. So,
yep.
You want to rotate him through the middle and get him numbers like that, I'll sacrifice the 1 goal for sure.
Yeah, well, here's a good question from the Spin Doctor. Brucey, yes, he's coming with 3 goals, which is very nice. His sharpness, the cleanness. I'm not seeing as much Bruce-esque class. But he put 3 goals on the board, and he still does the smart things. It's just playing those percentages. We've just been spoiled with how good he is. But yeah, happy to see Dylan Moore up the ground a little bit more, and kick on Brucey. Going well. I think it would have been an important game for him, I think, with Gunners and how close those boys are.
Yeah, and Dylan's not a forward pocket anyway. Not at no point during his career. He's a high half forward that's now rotating into the midfield, which is fantastic. So as far as Bruce replacement goes, we'll wait and see on Tyler Brockman, what's happening with his injury, or and whether he stays or he goes home. And there are some other guys down there as well. So as far as the punky replacements go, I don't think it's going to be Morey because he's not that kind of player. But we'll find some talent. I think Morey, Sam Butler, Jarman Impey played forward on the weekend, and I think it needs to happen permanently.
Yeah,
we've got options there. It's pretty rare that you have a guy like Punky who grows on trees, because small forwards you're not going to get too many, probably ever, that have been as good, if not better.
Yeah. Brilliant, fans. We're going to put click the pause button for a moment. We'd like you to put your virtual hands together and welcome Damian Mascitti. Dami, how you going, mate?
Good, thanks, guys. Nice to be joining you.
Excellent. I'm glad you can hear us. Looking good. All right, you're in the hot spot now. But mate, it's lovely. It's a pleasure to have you on board with the role that you've played with Box Hill in the last few seasons, and this season in particular. Coming off a loss, probably not the chat we'd like to have, but mate, you're a late inclusion. Tell us a little bit about the game, and we'll throw to the fans shortly with a few questions on Box Hill.
Yeah, it was I guess our third loss in a row now, so bit of a weird feeling. Generally, I don't lose more than 1 or 2 down at Box Hill, so we've obviously played some good opposition and haven't got the W, but I think the best thing on the weekend was we obviously got done, but we played in a way that was probably a lot more of our brand and a way that we want to play. So there was some real positive signs to come out of that that I guess we can take forward. And we got Werribee this week, who's another really good standalone team, and they'll be a big challenge again.
Yeah. If we can just start selfishly and then we'll work towards the team, Damian, because doing my research today, your disposal count has actually been sort of misrepresented. So in 3 different pieces of media, one has said you had 24 touches, 125 and 126. Can you actually confirm how much of the ball you think you had? Because no one can get it right.
Don't know. That's interesting. I didn't know that, but I'll take the one that says the most.
Yeah, 100%.
So
yeah,
26.
Mate, go to Mayo. Oh, here we go. We'll throw a few of the fan questions in as we go, Damo. So from Johnny Cavara. Your favourite Italian AFL footballer of all time. Who you got?
There's plenty, but it's a tough one. Probably, I might say Kuda, even though I'm not really a Carlton fan, but G was good to watch. Such a good player.
Anyone that destroys Essendon in a final is a friend of ours, mate, let me tell you. Goodness me.
Yeah.
I'll give Popolo shout out for I think is there any Italian? I'm trying to think who's on the list currently. Any Italian boys?
I don't think we have it.
I'm sure the fans will let us know. I'm sure.
Yeah. So, but you're not in the hot seat alone. It's us as well. But no. Daz, you had a bit of a look at the game. Give us some thoughts. The first quarter sort of dropped off a little bit there towards from what I saw, but give us a few thoughts, Daz, and a few questions perhaps for Dami.
Yeah, no worries. So, just for the fans before I get to Damian in a second, Southport second on the ladder, and I think them and Werribee are the only standalone teams in the top 13 on the ladder. So we run into some good opposition. If all you've done is have a quick glance at the scoreboard, so just so they understand that. Damian, Max Lynch has probably had, as a senior player, probably the most unlucky first season we've seen as Hawks fans overall. Took 7 marks, had 25 hitouts. How encouraging was that performance, do you think? Because as far as senior guys that we want to see stand up, he's obviously a part of the next generation for the senior side. But how do you think he went, and how is he doing overall? Because we know he's had some concussion battles.
Yeah, it was awesome to see him back. Had a terrible run, but I think naturally grew into the game, and he was really important in the second half when we got going. To have someone of his caliber in the ruck, and some of his taps are unreal, and he's going to be so valuable to not only us but also Hawthorn going forward. So it was unreal to have him in the team. He brings great energy, but I think positively good signs. Got through the game, felt really good, and I don't think it'll be too long before he'll be probably pressing for AFL selection.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Now, speaking of AFL selection, now 4 weeks before the mid-season draft, Talking Hawks tweeted out that I was looking at Maxi Ramsden as a mid-season draft nomination. So if he's looking for a number 1 fan, he's right here. What's he been like down at Box Hill? It's going to be unlikely that we see him in the seniors, but can you give us a taste of what we got to expect from a mid-season draftee?
Yeah, he's so raw, and you've probably seen footage, and he's a massive lad, and he's going to put on a lot of size over the next few years, I'm sure. But the thing that's probably stood out to me the most is how clean he is for a big guy. We played GWS up in the wet last week, and some of his touches, real one touch. He's got a nice left foot, so that's probably the thing that stood out the most to me so far, of how clean he is for a big guy. And obviously he's very athletic with his background, but he does definitely have some tricks in terms of his footy ability as well.
Beautiful. I like it. And of course, the senior boys that stood up before we get to your good self and some of the Box Hill teammates, of course, but we'll look after the fans a touch. Daniel Howe looked like he was one of the best, along with Tommy Phillips. What's it like for the group to have those senior guys that have had AFL experience to come back and to mentor forward? How important is it for the group's development to have those sort of guys around and playing well?
Yeah, Howie's remarkable. Every time he comes back, he's so consistent. And he's a really good guy to have around, because his attitudes probably sets the example for other guys who come back and play VFL, of just getting there, buying into the Box Hill sort of culture, and really having that one club feel. And his performances are really consistent, and having him in the midfield is obviously really valuable to the younger fellas, not only the Box Hill lads, but also the younger Hawthorn boys who are sort of looking up to him, and same as Flipper. And it's great to see him and his brother play a fair bit together this year. So, they seem to be kicking the footy to each other a fair bit as well.
You got some fans here. I just have to give him a little bit of airtime here, mate. We've got
don't answer any of them.
No, we've got some genuine ones. The laughs are good though. Which Box Hill player do you see? This is from Brady Gray. Which Box Hill player do you see potentially being drafted at the end of the year? Porter, Green, Phillips as possible suggestions there?
Well, I said Blanky at the start of the year, so I've got one right so far.
Yeah.
I'd love to see any of them drafted, really. I don't know. I feel like if I pick one, they're going to get stuck into me, so I might just sit on the fence right now.
That's smart man right there.
There's one from Barry Jolly to see if you put your hand up too, because he thinks you'd be a good pickup. So there you go. You don't have to. Sometimes we like to keep this amongst the Box Hill Hawthorn family too, Barry. So up to you, Damo, if you want to reveal your cards there. But
as in myself playing.
Yeah, would you interested in maybe putting your hand up at some point?
I think I'm a bit too old now. I'm just happy playing my role down at Box Hill.
James Podsiadly was 28 when he was picked up by Geelong. It's never too late, let me tell you.
Humble man, humble man.
What about your footy journey, man? We'll make this about you a bit. I know we've talked about some of the other boys, but for the fans that mightn't be as up to date with Box Hill as maybe they should have, we know a lot of footy fans follow the seniors and that be about it. Tell us about your footy journey, how you got to Box Hill and what you're hoping to achieve at Box Hill before the end of your career, which is hopefully still ages away.
So yeah, Port Melbourne boy. So it was a bit of a rival to Box Hill for quite a few years, and I went down there as an 18-year-old. Played 7 years down there, and yeah, great club. Loved it down there. Had some really good success as well. Quite a few final series, quite a few really good games against Box Hill, as you probably remember, or some of the Hawks fans remember. And then yeah, decided in end of 2018 to make a bit of a move and have a freshen up. And yeah, I thought Box Hill, always admired them from far, so I thought it'd be a great opportunity to come across, and absolutely loved it. Like, honestly, it's the best decision I've made in terms of my career, and just the people I've met, the experiences I've had, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I'll finish my career and get to say I got to captain the club, and it's a pretty big honour. Box Hill being the club it is, so absolutely loved it, and I'm still really enjoying it. So yeah, I'm sort of happily playing now, but also heading down the coaching path. So we'll see where that takes me in the next few years, and yeah, we'll just hopefully have a really good finish to the end of this year, and yeah, see what the future holds.
In that sense, so you played under Gary Ayres at Port Melbourne.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So did you pick up a few tips in terms of being a bit of a general on the back line?
Yeah, Izzy was awesome. I had him the whole time I was at Port. So yeah, he's a great man, and someone I still speak to, and obviously a Hawthorn legend. So as much as he was a bit upset when I left, he was also pretty happy that I was going to a club that he sort of loves from afar. But yeah, he's someone who's got such good experience in the game and all facets. So there's always something you can learn off him.
And can I take that into then today in your role in sort of picking up the caper as a coach? A lot of the fans obviously follow the Hawks incredibly closely, and we want them to get to know more and more of the people behind the scenes at Box Hill. But tell us a little bit about Blanky and even Tank Morris, given they would have been under your tutelage a little.
Yeah, so Blanky's a great story. He came to Box Hill a couple of years ago. Obviously, the last few years have been interrupted. Didn't get much of a go. And then last year sort of found himself in and out of the team quite a bit. But I always personally thought he had the traits to play AFL. Just like, I remember seeing him at training and even sort of just playing with him and against him, like how athletic he was. And I just always thought like that he's just got so much potential to be a good defender who plays at a high level. So I was pumped for him when he got, obviously, this year when everything went well for him, but even his form at VFL earlier this year was a massive improvement from even last year. So yeah, and I watched the game yesterday, and I thought he was super. Like, he didn't really lose a one-on-one yesterday, and he's already in his little 3-game career showed so much growth. So and then along with Tank, who has once again probably shown really good form at VFL this year, it's good to see him get rewarded, because that's I think a strength of Sam as a coach, that he's going to reward guys who are playing well in the VFL and who are abiding their time. Yeah, if you're playing well at VFL, you'll get rewarded.
Yeah, brilliant. I think Blanky's up for the new Golden Fist nickname. I was loving what he did yesterday. I don't know if the stats on how many punches, but I reckon he got about 8 or maybe more.
Yeah. He was in something like 38 contests, and he lost one of them, so he got outmarked on one of them. And let's not forget one of those free kicks, I think, in that third quarter, which could have been one of the worst I've seen. But we're not here to have a go at the umpires. Damian, one more player that I think fans want to talk about, because we've seen Joshy Ward, Connor McDonald, Sam Butler. This draft group looks awesome. The last 2 guys, Ned Long and Jai Sarong, now they seem like they're a bit of time away from the seniors, just due to the depth that Hawthorn are building at the moment. What can you tell us about those 2 lads, how their footy's going, what they're like as guys around the club, and hopefully what can we expect from them once they make that jump?
Yeah, both absolute ripper young lads, and both bought into Box Hill when they've been down there. So Jai's, a young sort of key developing player, and he's played a bit at forward and back this year, which has been good for him. But he's just such a nice guy, and he's really eager to learn and get better. And that's probably the biggest thing I've noticed about him. Even when he's come down back, like he'll quite often ask questions: where should I be? What should I be doing? So it's really, he's really observant like that and wants to get better. So he's showing some really good signs. He's someone who I think's got some really good talent and big upside. So I'm pretty excited for his future. And then Longy, who was having a really, really good game in the first quarter on the weekend, and then unfortunately I think he got a concussion in the end, so he had to miss the rest of the last 3 quarters, basically, which was unfortunate because he was having probably one of his better games, especially over the last few months. Last few weeks he's been building. So he's been playing a bit of wing, inside, forward, so he's been thrown around as well. But once again, really diligent, really good hard worker. And I think that's what stood out mostly about these young guys, like how well they want to just get involved in things and how much they want to improve and get better every week.
It's a great dynamic with the amount of youth that you're blooding, even down at Box Hill.
Excuse me.
What's something you would enjoy personally in your role, I guess, as a player coach? You've got all these youngsters with talent coming through the mix.
I think, like we spoke about, seeing guys like Tank and Blanky, or even Denver, you're playing with them 1 week, and then you're trying to really get their confidence going, try to sort of show off their weapons, and then the next week or in a couple of weeks they're back playing at the AFL level. And I think that's really satisfying as not only a teammate but also a coach. Not saying that I've had all that impact on them, but if you can have some little impact and help them grow and push them to where they want to be, I think that's something that I really enjoy now, sitting back and watching the games, and they're actually out there on the AFL field playing.
Good coaching material if you're enjoying that, mate. That's great.
Yeah, 100%. The more he observes, the better he'll be, I reckon. Damian, speaking of a bloke that's an elite observer, from when he arrived at Box Hill as your coach, are you at all surprised that Sam Mitchell is now running the AFL system and how well he's going? I know the results mightn't have gone the Hawks' way, currently 5-11, but we can see what the Hawks are trying to do. As soon as he got to Box Hill, did you know that he was going to be hopefully something special in the coaching sphere, and what made that so?
Yeah, for sure. I think you sort of see him from afar, and obviously being a guy who watched him a lot on TV, and you see like how good a player he was, and then you get to know him on a different level, and you see how he operates and how well he interacts with people, and then you see another side with his footy IQ and how well he sees the game. So I think there was, when he sort of got the job last year, I think not many people doubted how well he'd sort of just step into it and how prepared he was. I think, anyone knows him knows he's more than well prepared to be doing what he's doing right now, and it's probably no surprise to a lot of people with how well some of the results have been this year and the trajectory the club's going on.
Have you met someone more obsessed with footy?
I don't know if it's obsessed. I think he's just such like a good deep thinker, and just like has different ideas that probably a lot of other people wouldn't even think about. And he makes footy sound so simple, but in sort of a way that's just very different to what you might get from other coaches. So he's a bit of a footy genius, that's for sure.
Well, you spoil it with some of the blokes in the background, Schwabby, and it's just the coaching wealth that's been running through there. It's phenomenal. So, look, this week you've got Werribee Tigers, so 6:15 Box Hill. Fans, get down there, 2:05. What can we expect this week? And we'll probably let you go after that little pump up.
Yeah, big game for us once again this week. So big standalone club, Werribee. They started the season pretty average, and then they've come really strongly probably the last 4 or 5 weeks. And they're a really good side. They've been probably a bit of a bogey side for Box Hill the last few years. We haven't been able to knock them off for a while. So we've got them in a home deck in sort of a must-win game. So I think the boys will really get up and about for this. And as I spoke about before, the Southport game was probably a good lead into this week, and hopefully we can continue that form. And if we have a good win this week, really get ourselves back on track and hopefully set ourselves for a big finals campaign.
Yeah, brilliant. Love to
see
see you.
8 rebounds, Matty. So I'm booking him in for 12. Our man, he's just going to be patrolling that defensive 50 extraordinarily well. Werribee aren't going to be able to get past him. I'm looking forward to it.
Love it. Love it. Well, with 5 games to go, we wish you all the best to see the season out, hit the finals, and mate, hopefully we'll get down and can be cheering you on with some other Hawks fans and Box Hill fans. So good luck this week, and thanks for joining us, Damian Mascitti.
No worries.
Thank
Thanks
you very
heaps,
much.
lads.
Thanks,
Have a
mate.
good one.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Amazing. What a fella.
Great man.
Very spoilt with Box Hill having some of their people join us. So hopefully you are getting to know more of them and get involved a little bit more, supporting Box Hill and their journey. I just love the alignment between the clubs, Daz. So
maybe a bit too humble, Matty. Should have said he dominated last week, because he did. It's not often you have 26 and 8 rebounds. He could have come on and said that he was, probably our best on the day, and we would have agreed with him. But no, very, very controlled, and he's got that coach in the making, doesn't he? With the way that he talks about the game and the love that he's got for it. So Sammy Mitchell, when we're back on top and winning flags again, mate, to slot him into the coaching ranks would be outstanding.
You never know, when you build these bonds. But pretty humble. BNF last year, captain. So good fella, and great that he's around our young guys that are, as he said, he's enjoying that, just seeing him bob up and give them that encouragement, that confidence to get back in. So anyway, loving what Box Hill is doing, putting into some of the boys at the Hawk. So let's continue. All right, Daz. Let's go to some of the things, fans, that there were some changes in the game. What did you see that maybe there was a few tweaks that you liked the looks of? Because I certainly noticed a few things. Daz, have you got one or two? Just question without notice.
No, that's okay. Well, a tweak is the luxury that we had would be 2 ruckmen, which was very handy, but I think we've had 4 games now where we've gone in with 2 ruckmen, and we won 3 and lost to Carlton by a point. I think Carlton was the game that I'm thinking of. But the bigger change for me, Jarman Impey forward. I mean, we've been calling for it for a while, and it needed to happen. The man's overhead marking's fantastic. He could have kicked 6 in this game. I think his expected scoring on the day was 5 goals. 1, I know he only had the 4 scoring shots, but a couple fell short from places that he'd kicked in the past. He just looked so damaging with the ball in the air. It just keep him there, Sammy. We've got enough run off the half back in the wings. Keep him in there. Add some X factor, and you add Chad Wingard into that forward mix when he comes back as well. Oh.
Can I chime in there? I'm loving it.
For it.
What Impey was doing, just the confidence, just the I think the goal kicking, he was looking to give it off once or twice. He had that second shot from almost the same angle, and I know he was like kicking himself, but look, he got rewarded. He got 1, but he could have been easily 3 goals, 1 or 2 goals. Up his sleeve. So I think his attack was very good. I think it's probably just the knowledge as well of some of the other boys up there. So I'm loving seeing Impey up there, and the chase, and we need it. We need it. So I don't know if Brewster's losing a step. They're playing. I think they're still working a few things out. Even the dynamic of seeing Big Boy down forward at the time. I think you got to, being at the game at the moment, we've got to really just plonk it on the Noodles head. Reeves right now to lead in and just get that working leading patterns when there's 3 bigs. It's something that we haven't had the luxury of, but it was nice to see. So some of the blocking and screening and all of that going on with some big bodies, it was nice because you've got that option of Lewis, and we were sitting right behind the goals a few times. You're just watching the way they're trying to give Cozzy that breakout or Lewis. So something I was absolutely loving seeing, and Impey was fitting in nicely up there.
And speaking of things that we love to see, how good was it that Dimmer didn't have to play lockdown at all? With no Josh Rochelle in that side, none of the other Adelaide small forwards were. Look, sometimes you just got to be honest. They weren't worth Dimmer's time as a lockdown player, so he just went, "I'll just drop 32 on your heads." And I think at about 88% efficiency. Yes, please.
Someone called it earlier. Game of the season, absolutely, by Dimmer.
A return to form. Yep.
Yeah, we were loving it. It is nice just with that depth, and it's, Sam talked about it during the week. It's still a bit of tinkering, just working out midfield, and if there's the back option of tinkering, and now just the change of position. I think in the next few rounds we'll see a bit more of that. And a team against Adelaide and Westco, down the bottom of the ladder, you've probably got that ability to turn it up. If some of the tinkering's not working, you'd like to think that we can, put the foot down. But the fans are coming in thick and fast with a few ripper things here. Scrimmo in great form, absolutely. Wasn't this fella? He stood out, didn't he?
It's incredible to me. I wrote about it in the player review. I don't think he's played a better game than that, period. I know he's kicked goals. I think he's kicked multiple goals 4 or 5 times in his career. I don't think that was a career best in terms of disposals, but I don't think he's had a bigger impact on a contest than that. And the rundown tackle, I mean, Brodie Smith's seen something. I don't know what he was not understanding that Connor was behind him, but
he was in fairyland.
I think, yeah, exactly right. I think what Connor did that kind of went understated. Go and have a look at the left-handed handball he did over his shoulder to Dylan Moore. Yeah. I think in that third quarter, good luck replicating that in a backyard against your sibling, let alone on an AFL ground with Ben Keys coming at you. That was extraordinary, and he was extraordinary.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Just the Gaelic, and the rugby. It's just that fusion of experiences and the body type. It's exciting when you can see some of that coming in and other players complementing. Yeah, he still has that little chip, of a kick that you see in the Gaelic in setting up. I'm like, he doesn't quite just stab it, and but that's okay. He's working out his place, and phenomenal game by Nashi.
Never tries to do too much, which is fantastic.
We did see Brewster, some of those. He laid a few good tackles, breaking tackles, and it was lovely to see him hitting the scoreboard, as we said earlier.
He only went at 36% disposal efficiency, which thinking back, because he had 11 kicks, he didn't handball the footy. Let's face it, he didn't need to. I just can't remember any of his kicks being poor. So 36%, that's disastrously low, but I don't think he really cost us with any of his ball use at all. I know he did the shake and bake on Tom Doedee and set up Mitch Lewis really nicely. And, I mean, we'll talk about him at some point because that was extraordinary. But, yeah, I thought Punky was pretty good, and he's probably the one that I think fans might be looking at some stats rather than maybe his impact, because I thought he was great.
And we don't know, just the ability to lead out there and talk and coordinate. And it's so much that you can't just judge off stats. But there's a couple of rippers coming in here. I'm loving this call. That's the prelude to set up for Paul.
I'm a Nashist. That's fantastic.
Can we make a T-shirt of that? It's
I like it.
Talking Hawks, I'm a Nashist. Here we go.
Hawks match.
There's some good call-outs for Maury again. We've touched on him a little bit. I think Jager did give us some really important extraction work and just moments. It's impacting the game. It's not consistently the high-flying capabilities maybe that he's had in years gone by, but I loved what I saw in parts from Jager.
Yeah, his impact per possession was unreal, I think.
Yeah.
Important goal too.
Lewis, yes, was a key one. So, Mitchie, you rattled off just before, I think, in our little online chat. What was your little stat with Mitchie?
That it was the quickest Hawthorn player had gotten to 5 goals in a game. I think it was 2007 or 8. I think it was rough from what I saw. If we can find it, we'll post it on the socials. But yeah, I think it took 42 minutes of game time, which is just.
But his averages, sorry. Happy to pump that one up again. But he's now averaging the most goals for anybody that's kicked 10 or more goals. I believe that was your stat I was searching for there to set you up.
Yep. Sorry. Yes, he is. The Coleman medal for averages. Our man's in front, which is extraordinary considering we're 15th in the competition for inside 50s. Well, imagine it when we actually,
and goalless last week.
Yeah, and he's equal 8th in the Coleman. And he's missed 4 games.
Yeah.
Imagine when we start actually getting it into him with purpose. Oh,
I tell you what, and Duke's trajectory on the kicks. Sometimes he's inside 50s. I'm just salivating. It is phenomenal. He just gets that pitching wedge. It's just like boom, and it's beautiful to watch. So brilliant to have him. He lifted again.
25 touches, didn't turn it over once.
Oh, I missed that one. You're all over the stats this week.
Just,
It was my birthday. I had
unbelievable.
a bit of a fun time. I didn't get right into it this stats wise.
No, it was. Our man was enjoying himself, rightly so.
Yeah. Well, I did love and we were right behind goals, as I said, seeing Blanky, Denver, Sicily, another good game. But, Denver didn't necessarily, as far as some of the little things before he was dropped, he was giving up a few goals. I think he was put on much better performance there, and just the balance of when to do the team thing and when to go. The talk was good. Blanky actually directing traffic. He looked very solid at that back. Just sort of, wouldn't that be an assurance for Denver as well? You got Sicily and Blank just holding their own. So Sicily we haven't touched on, but again, it's just spoiled. We kind of expected, but
speaking of blokes that can kick the footy.
I tell you what, I almost wanted to shout the roof down when I did see Duke's barrel. Bring back the barrel.
Oh yeah,
that was phenomenal to set up a goal.
Well, I mean, we've been spoilt with really good ball users, haven't we? And I've completely forgotten where my train of thought was going here.
Right.
So, yep, no, continue. I'll get there.
And CJ as well. Look, having the dash, I think the opposition, when we've seen CJ in years gone by just start to light it up, it was like on a turnover or that athletic mark and going. I think the opposition just are so much more wary of him now. He's still trying to back himself, but it's that give and go, or that, he cops a few hard hits, or this game in particular. It was good to see him just having a crack, using his speed. And there we go. We've got a few. Some of the kicks, maybe a little bit not quite what we want, but we did line up. We've got Denver and CJ that will be coming on soon. So one of them might end up being just to our player sponsorship group, but we'll sort of keep that behind closed doors as we did with Jai the other week. So if you're part of that group or you want to be part of it, check out talkinghorse.com, the player sponsorship side of things. Not too late. We want another $250 this week if we can, just to keep the dollars rolling. And we'd love to get a little bit more in the coffer so that we can get behind one of the AFLW players too. So if you're keen on the AFLW and you want to look at covering that or helping us, we're keen to get some extra sets of hands and eyes that can do a few things through Talking Hawks and get behind the ladies. So went from Denver, CJ, Jai covering all our boys there, but here we go.
I think we've got 4 games at Skybus Stadium, which is in Frankston, which is like 5 minutes from my joint. So whoever's done the fixturing for the AFLW, remind me to buy you a beer because you've set me up magnificently there. But
membership's only $50, and I've hit up Keegan Brooksby as well. He has said yes, he will come on. So he's involved in the women's program. It'd be great to get him, mate. Wouldn't it be nice to get Abby as well?
Mate, absolutely, it would. It's incredible because, this AFLW program, you only have to listen to Beck Goddard with Campbell Brown, and we're not in this competition just to make up the numbers. We're coming for success earlier, and I think if there's going to be an expansion team that is closest to finals, I don't see why it's not going to be us at all with how successful the club is. So, if you want to support the Hawthorn Football Club, let me tell you, by the time August hits, we're not playing finals. I hate to break it to anyone, but as soon as August hits, Essendon round 1, yes, please.
Yeah. Look, we're keen to keep supporting the club in that regard, and the AFL women's team, it's very exciting. So, get behind us in terms of player sponsorship. If we can get the funds, we'd love to get behind one of the ladies if the Hawks would give us some room. So, again, that's all possible with your help. Had a lovely time with Willard, as I said, and one of her friends as part of the player sponsorship group. Looking at a box, maybe, if you're interested to join us at West Coast, that would be a pay your own way. But if you want to join some of the Talking Hawks this week against the Eagles, hit us up.
Should I be worried that I haven't received an invite to that yet, Matty?
Mate, pay your way. You've been a medical sub at the moment, so I'm just looking out for you.
The Chinese cough has ripped its way through my joint at the moment, which is probably why a few people have been telling that I've been muting myself and coughing. So I apologise for that. One more player, if we can, before we sort of get to the fans and we head off, Matty. Have we had a cleaner junior player, a cleaner first-year player with the ball in his hands than Connor McDonald. Now, he only had 11 touches on the weekend. I know that, and I hope that he starts converting those into 18s, 20s, and more as his career goes on. But I don't think that we've had a kid that's been this good with the footy in his first year in a while. It's incredible. His confidence in his decision-making is blossoming in front of our eyes. And I think since he was originally supposed to have a week off and then he had to come in for Chad and play a few extra games, I think it's been the best thing for him because everything that he does with the footy is immaculate. And oh boy, we're onto a winner.
Oh, yeah. And get another preseason under the belt. Like, let's just wait to see what this kid can do. It is nice when we're playing to perhaps a different game plan, playing to players' strengths. It's just, I think that's in Sam's DNA to try and bring the best out of what the physical attributes of the individual are, and then hit that mental side. But yeah, the fact that he's got the confidence, he's going for it, loving what C-Mac's doing. Yeah, there's a lot of support here from the fans.
Yeah, beautiful, love it. And Finn McGuinness, bring the tagger back. Jordan Dawson did nothing on the weekend. Finn, I know that I mightn't have been the massive fan. I know what you did against Egg Langdon was extraordinary. You deserve all the credit. That was outstanding. I know Mitch and Chris talked about it in the preview. I know the fans got behind it. I know he had 10 tackles, Jordan Dawson, but I forgot he was playing. He was that good. Massive shout out to Finn. That was fantastic. Yep.
And one more, who was in my top 5? HMO. So we got Crash and Bash Nash doing his thing. You've got Finn finding his groove. I think HMO, Harry Morrison, doing his thing as well. It's just phenomenal. I'm seeing a bit on socials. Fans are really happy for him to continue. Give him a contract. Give him a couple of years. So there's been a few different views, and we've been supporting him this year, and it's lovely to see him just continue to fire on.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a 2-year for HMO, I don't think. I mean this with all due respect. I don't think he's breaking our bank in terms of salary cap, and I mean that with all due respect. So I don't see a downside to it, even if we do bring a Carl Amon in, because if we are bringing in Carl Amon, we ain't putting him on a wing. I'll give you the tip. You're not paying $650,000 for a wingman.
Yeah, it's a bit up there, isn't it? So I think we've got an exciting off-season, and we will launch into all of that. So hopefully you stick with us. But all right, Daz. Hey, one thing.
We've said one thing 8 times now, but one thing.
We've got some merch coming. So if you love a bit of what Talking Hawks does, could be a white cap like old Daz there, but you can see the Talking Hawks symbol just to his right. But if you can imagine that, I didn't get the graphic organised, but keen to hear from you fans if you'd be interested, what you're interested in, and this will just help keep the lights on and us do what we do. But look, there's lots of things coming up. I'm feeling a little bit like Santa Claus towards the end of the season. We've got the Peter Crimmins coming up, and so maybe a box, and just get to the game. I hope we can catch a lot more of you in person. But cool. All right.
I reckon a caricature of Daz just right there on the logo. That'd go down well, I reckon. It'd sell like hotcakes. That's a bit too much laughter, actually, Matt.
Sorry, mate. I'll just laugh because we've got big fat heads, and I'm just imagining your fat head on a hat. A fat head. And
that's it. There's a lot of space there. Just the Talking Hawks in the middle, and then just Daz right there. That'd go down well. Imagine trying to explain that to your mate.
All right. So top 5. Daz, you've done your article. Please. You've done your player review. Fans, let us know your thoughts. Daz loves it, and you've gone against the fan MVP once again, mate.
10 out of 16. I'm going well, aren't I?
Who did you give us? Give us the sneak preview. Who was your top man this week?
The ultimate tribute to Paul Deere, number 13, Dylan Moore was the best on the ground for mine. 29 touches, and I think 5 more players got 4 stars. So someone's going to be unlucky to miss out. But we need your top 5, mate.
Yeah, well, I am going to start with it took us a while just even to get through them all. Love Nuke, Jager, MP, Nash, Brewsty. sorry, Bruce, honourable mentions. So I'm going to start at Sicily as number 5. Speak for itself, his game, what he does, how he cruises around. I think he's a limo. HMO, I'm giving 4 votes because I think the role that he played in the pressure acts, and I don't have the stats, but I think by halftime there's some pretty impressive numbers that he had racked up. Apologies, I'm a bit sparse on the stats, but Maury came in at 3 for mine, and I know he had some phenomenal disposal efficiency and the like.
All right.
Alrighty. Here we go.
I'm going to the West Coast game, and it's not to watch it. It's
in the red corner and in the blue corner. So I've got Lewis, giving him 2. 5 goals isn't easy at all. So I think would have loved to see more for the second half from him, but I think we're seeing the coming of age as we have all season. I'm giving Hardwick my number 1, and it's maybe just a bit of dimmer love, but I think seeing him with the shackles off, being able to not do a lockdown role, for me, I've probably been a bit emotional in my votes there, but that just excited me to see a bit the dimmer of old, and probably just, I feel like it's just reinvigorated him. So fans, if you've got a different top 5, lay it on us, chuck it in the comments. We've got a few here. Daz does not agree, but that's all.
More Lewis. Yeah, more. Just as long as Moore's number 1, Con, I'm happy. So, Team Daz, 5 more. Oh, look at him. They're coming, they're dazzling. Look at it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lewis 3rd's interesting. Hardwick again, so underrated. Yeah. It's great. What makes me laugh, Matty, and I think you'll be the same, is all the media that type, Hawthorn fans are amazed at how Blake Hardwick's underrated. No, we're not. We know what media people watch Hawthorn and who doesn't. It's pretty evident by the way they write. So pretty easy for me. Mitch, I'll give you that 20 I owe you, mate, for saying Maury. Appreciate that. Lovely work. More number 1. Oh, Con, you speaking my language, son. Maury 5. Oh, team dazzling tonight.
And it's lovely to see Moore step up a gear in the first part of the season. You know, maybe he's backed off a little and maybe he was getting a bit more attention, but to be able to start performing at a higher level, you know, it really is phenomenal, and it's what we need for the future. So,
well, beautiful. Isn't it amazing how there's a very real chance, and you can put them into whatever order you want, but there's a real chance that the top 5 in our best and fairest are going to be 2 blokes in the 70s in terms of draft picks. That's Lewis and Moore. I think James Sicily was a pick in the 50s. We traded a 3rd rounder for Jack Scrimshaw. I mean, that's a pretty handy start. And John Newcombe was a mid-season draft pick.
Yep. Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Wait till these top 10s reach their potential. My goodness me. Ride the bumps with the Greenhawks fans, because this is extraordinary.
Yeah, it is phenomenal to see what we're unearthing, and look, it's just a little bit of the patience. I'm seeing fans talking 2 or 3 years. I think 3 years is a good window for us to be really looking realistically at what we've got. So I wanted to finish on, we had Ben asked us about David Uniacke.
LDU.
He wanted a bit of a discussion. So Daz, your thoughts on him, and I think the potential here of Hawthorn's obviously what's being thrown in the mix. So discuss.
Well, I like it. On a different medium, I spoke about when North lost to Geelong about how good he was looking, and he backed that up with his work. But my problem with trades, and I'd love him, I really would at the Hawks. He's going to be an elite talent if he's not already, but North aren't giving him up. It's as simple as that. The Jason Horne-Francis might request a trade at the end of the year. There's no way they're giving up LDU. They'll build the midfield around him, whether Jason Horne-Francis is there or not. So, I mean, I'd love it.
Penny Star, there you are.
He's a clearance player who drives with his legs, which is really good, which is what you need in a midfield. But I'm a fan of trade talk. But at the end of the day, what you need first and foremost is a player the club might let go. No way we get LDU. But if North are silly enough, I'll have him.
You never know if there's a bit of discontent behind the scenes and whatnot. You just got to find sometimes that a few plays where there's a connection or
North are going that well. They can't sack their coach properly. 11 games of 47 plus losses. They're on the pine. They're probably going to let him go if they get smacked by Collingwood and they decide not to. Thanks, North.
Yeah. Well, there's a few other players starting to throw it up. So, Daz, we will be tapping into your views and opinions, and Timmy Numos stepping up with a few nice articles too. So it will be great to see.
Are there a couple there before we head off? I'll give you quick.
All right, here we go.
We'll do this quick fire style. No, not for me.
No, quick and easy.
Doesn't work hard enough defensively. Why don't we go for Dusty? If he wants out, Jay's going into state, son. It's as simple as that.
Doesn't work hard enough defensively either.
Dusty, no, I don't think Dusty's laid a tackle since 2017 Norm Smith medal presentation, or he's gone to the nightclub at the end of 2019 would probably be the last time Dusty laid a tackle. So
he's very good at getting to the right spots. Richmond make Dusty. Is my call there.
Yep, I like it. But interstate, we will get Amon Barry. I'm with you. Don't really understand why people aren't a fan of that. He had 22 touches on the weekend. Not one of them were contested, and he used it 84% by foot. He had a worse disposal efficiency handballing. That's
never happening, Tom. Never. With the greatest of respect, Tommy, we love you. But Noah Anderson, that hurts to see him.
How much of a stitch-up was that by the AFL? They met before he got drafted. They met about changing the father-son rule, and they said no. If they'd have said yes, we would have got him.
Yeah.
Get stuffed, AFL, frankly. Sam Wiedemann, don't mind it, but we'd have to get rid of Jekka and maybe Callow as well, which would be pretty brutal. I think Callow's got a contract for next year, so don't mind it. But if Wiedemann goes, I think Collingwood's the place.
And we'll finish up on Willie. Don't mind it.
The interesting bit is I reckon it's the other West Coast guy you got to look at, and that's Liam Ryan. So you keep that, just not necessarily to the Hawks, but mightn't be there next year. We know Bobby Hill probably requested trade home, but I think the Hawks are going to say no thank you. Tanner Bruin's going to want to come home, and I know I've been on that train, but I've probably got to let that one go as well. So it'll be interesting, but what's good is we're relevant in these conversations.
Yes, absolutely. It will be interesting to see us emerge as a destination club again. And the good Mr. Goodwin, I do agree, would be nice.
Elijah Hewitt gets past West Coast's pick, that'd be handy.
And
hopefully they stuff us up.
Paying this is the party notes. We have loved this conversation tonight. Thanks for being with us. And absolutely, I'm going to see Dipper and Derm up at the Dandenongs.
You are. Beautiful.
In a few weeks. So it will be good to see the greatest Italian player just owning the stage as he does.
Can I tell you quickly about Dipper? My parents ran into Dipper when he was emceeing an event before a junior grand final, and they asked him to sign something for me. I don't have it on me in this house, but he signed this beautiful piece of paper saying, like, go well, enjoy the moment. I hope you have fun. I hope you win the flag. And we got up. So Dipper's a star, and I'll owe him a lot for that. What a man. What a champion. All right, let's get out of here, Matty.
All right, fans. Thanks so much for joining us. Hit us up on the DMs. Follow us on YouTube. You make this all possible. Thank you. We love talking Hawks with you. And we'll catch you all Thursday night, I think. Chris and Mitch with the game preview. MCG box. If you want in, hit us up. Catch you later.